everybody. Welcome to our regularly scheduled stream. It's been a little over 2 weeks since we last saw you guys. If you guys are joining us and wondering why the set looks a little different, we had a minor technical difficulty. We had to switch out cameras.
Just a little bit. There was smoke involved.
Switch out cameras at the last second. But we do have some pretty cool stuff to show you guys today on the stream.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. We're moving and grooving.
I know. So what we're doing now is we're actually having a lot of our developers record some of their time on their rigs, and we'll do some speed ups of their progress that they make, either whether it be 3D modeling of certain characters, creatures, buildings, or actual level design.
Yeah, we're going to give you an inside peek on like just what our process is for a lot of this stuff, and I think that's pretty cool. I love watching it, so I hope you guys do too.
Sometimes it makes me, though, a little bit motion sickness.
Really? It puts me in this really nice Zen place.
Does it?
It's really calming.
That's good. But the Oculus does that to me too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I get really. So what we're going to show you guys to start out with actually is something we released yesterday. We released a cinematic look at the arenas that we're going to be taking with us to PAX West up in Seattle, where players are going to be able to participate in a 4 versus 4 arena. These arenas actually are level designer Tristan Snodgrass, who's a very talented artist and really just kind of jack of all trades when it comes to things.
He does a little bit of everything, and all of it is really good. So.
Yeah, so he went through and made these 3 separate arena locations. We're going to show you, I think, the speed build on 2 of them. One is a Metropolis setting that you guys have seen before, and then the other is a snow kind of on the hill with a castle in the background during a siege kind of arena system. And we'll explain a little bit about the arena and how that's going to work. Or we may have actually gone into that last year.
We did talk a little bit about it, yeah.
Yeah, so let's just show you the speed design and give you guys a look at 6 minutes, condensed few hours on what it looks like to build one of these areas. All right, guys, that was our amazing Tristan Snodgrass throwing together pretty quick.
Yeah.
He did that whole level in under 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, it was just about 5 minutes. We timed him. We got a stopwatch.
No, so we're actually going to have, I believe we're trying to have that specific level at PAX as well. But we're going to show you the Metropolis Arena next and a speed build for that. The Metropolis Arena will for sure be at PAX.
Yeah, 100%. That's definitely in.
Yeah, and the mechanics, you guys saw some fireballs coming in on that village. You know, the mechanics that eventually we want to have in our arena system when the game goes into alpha, beta, and live launch is there's going to be hazards that are present. There's going to be environmental hazards such as fire that tanks will be able to pull their opponents through potentially to deal damage. You're going to have random impact hits from these like out of the arena siege to kind of randomize where damage gets dealt and just kind of provide again that strategic thinking towards where you're going to go and why you're going to go there.
These places are going to have a story to tell.
Yes.
They're not just going to be kind of like empty playgrounds. They're going to have context, and that context is going to inform the type of gameplay you see.
Absolutely.
The environment will continue to be a creature.
Right, and we're going to have different, in the game there's going to be different participant levels. We're going to have 1v1s, we're going to have 3v3s, we're going to have 8v8s, which is our group size.
Yep.
You'll be seeing actually, speaking of groups, you'll be seeing actually a blog either today or tomorrow. Real soon, going into some detail about our groups and you know, how many people are in our groups, why our groups are that size, you know, what are the role situations in those groups, loot distribution, just a blog. We're getting into our blogs again about our group system. So let's show you the speed design on the Metropolis Arena.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Welcome back, everybody.
Hey guys. Okay, so we talked a little bit about the arena last time. I just want to give you an update on what that system is going to feel like, at least for PAX, and what we're going to include scenario-wise for the game. One of the components to an arena, obviously, in the past is something in regards to, how many kills do you get, and
what the rule set is.
And there's like capture the flag, modes and stuff like that. For PAX, we're going to be having a control point mode. A control point mode. In addition, controlling those points will gain your team victory points.
Right.
And that's based on how much time you control those locations. And those locations will be represented by a statue representing your team. So I believe we have the Maidens and the Serpents as our two team statues. Volume, how's the volume? Testing 1, 2, hello? Oh, I'm too loud.
We're too loud. You said we should project, so we were projecting.
I was projecting, sorry. So, you'll have the Maidens and you'll have the Serpents. In addition to that, killing opponents on the other team will grant your team additional victory points, and there will be a team captain assigned as well. And if you kill the team captain, you will gain 2 to 3 times the points normally you would by killing a member of the team normally. So those are the aspects of the arena system that you'll see at PAX, and potentially some of the modes that you'll see when Alpha and Beta comes along.
Right.
We'll be testing those, to see how fun they are, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So we have some other stuff that we want to show you. In addition to preparing for PAX, we do have some new animations and creatures that we're getting into the game that you'll be seeing in some upcoming gameplay videos as time moves forward. Yep. One of the creatures that you may have seen some concept art for last month was this bird-like creature, and the history behind this race of birdmen, so to speak, is that
unofficial title.
Unofficial title is that they existed once as a great race that was really. Oops, that was not it.
I hope it was appropriate. I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
It was one of the boss ones. So sorry. This race was once a very beautiful race that existed in the mountains. It flew. It had capabilities that were present of a bird race, like being able to fly and whatnot. And as time progressed and the corruption within the world kind of changed this race into what they are today when you encounter them. Now they are something much more corrupt, perverted.
Right.
Towards
their kind of presence in the world has been flipped inside out.
Yes.
And you'll see this happen to a lot of our other races, and kind of discovering the histories and how these changes happened are a big part of the game. This guy is something that I think is really cool. His movements are fantastic. Our animators are doing a great job on it.
Looks great.
Yeah. So let's take a look at the animations of this creature. Now this is still a work in progress on these animations. They're almost there, but you're not going to see textures on the model.
Yep. These are all gray box right now.
So this is all gray box, but you'll get to see some of the animations of when this creature dies. Like right there, you see the creature is dying. This is its run animation. If it notices you and it aggroes onto you, it's going to start moving towards you in that fashion. This is its combat idle, it looks like.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like that's a combat idle animation where this is the creature in between attack animations. It's going to be at this combat stance. Oh, that's a pretty cool one.
Yep, that's him leaping out of an ambush point to attack the party. That's him dying again.
Oh, he died again.
He dies a lot.
Oh,
he dies a lot.
It's looping. He dies a lot.
He will.
Nice. You'll see these creatures actually at PAX as well. Those of you who will be coming to PAX, and you'll see these creatures in the gameplay videos that come out of PAX.
I love this guy's head movements, man. It's so
the
twitchy,
chicken kind of
creepy.
twitch. Yeah.
It's cool.
It's pretty
Is
cool.
that play on delay? Actually, I'm just thinking about that.
Oh.
Like, are we describing it?
Oh, you know what?
later, soon?
Oh my gosh,
I
you're
don't know.
totally right.
Are we in the future or the past?
No,
I think
we're
we're
in
in
the
the
past.
future.
We're in the past.
Sorry, guys. We don't have the television to look at because of the camera malfunction, so we may have been delayed in those descriptions.
That might have been really weird, but maybe cool. You can piece it together.
Oh God.
We're doing it live.
Okay. So those are those are some animations. You're going to see some more animations. We have a boss that we're working on right now. We have our skills animations that are coming out of the pipeline for the tank, the cleric, the mage, the ranger.
We're doing a big character revamp as far as like we're trying to get like our actual pipeline in place for going forward. So we're kind of nailing down all the looks. So you'll see some changes to some of the main archetypes that you've been seeing so far. Some I think more impressive visuals and
for sure,
just pretty cool looking stuff. So.
As the project continues, you're going to see different iterations of this process come out that are going to be much more polished. Something that we were telling you, especially during our Kickstarter month, was everything you're seeing, and we showed you guys a lot of stuff, was really pre-alpha stuff, and we're going to polish this to make it something that is even more impressive than what you've seen so far. Let's take a look at some of the concept art. I think this is now an armor. We can pull up the cleric's armor for PAX. This is one of the armor sets that we're working on. This will be on the cleric. This is a medium type armor. If we have it.
It's so weird because we have no feedback right now.
So it's been.
But it's cool. I think we're right.
That's not the cleric, but that's okay. It's a tank. That's okay. What?
Dude. Yeah.
What happened? The tank is up?
Right.
Okay. Tank's up. That's fine. We'll talk about the tank. Oh, you don't have the cleric one? We're in the as you know, we stream from the studios, and because you've seen in the different direction, the studio's behind us. So let me just shout out, Jeffrey. We got the color one in LiveStream? All right, it's in LiveStream channel on Slack. And we like to do it live.
We do. We do.
That's why we call it our live.
It's the best way to get things done. Just do it.
Agreed. Okay, so we have the tank here. So obviously, this is going to be a physical tank, right? This is somebody who is built to withstand physical incoming damage.
Correct.
He is all about surviving, drawing aggro, controlling the battlefield,
and taking the hits.
And taking the hits, absolutely. Yep. So here we have this guy in some full-on heavy plate armor. You'll see the asymmetry that's present. He doesn't have the symmetrical appearance on both of the pauldrons. He's got one that's kind of larger than the other. And that could be for mobility on the right arm when he's swinging, right? That makes sense. He's going to need a greater degree of armor on the pauldron side because that's going to be his shield-wielding arm, right? So he wants to have that maximum.
Take those hits from all that.
Exactly, yes, 100%. This guy, he's looking pretty beefy. Now this would be a tier 4 armor set. If we assume there's 5 tiers, right? This would be the tier 4.
It's on the upper end.
Yes, exactly. Now that's not the color iterative. No. Yeah, I want the color one. This is the non-colored version of the cleric that you're seeing, delayed a little bit. Let's get we have a basic color version that we're going to show here. There we go. Now this would be something we haven't fully discussed, I don't think, with everybody, is that armor is going to exist within tiers that relate to your adventuring class progression, right? And those tiers of armor will, within the tier, have different sets of armor that are available. How many sets we aren't ready to say yet. But each of these sets will then have unique appearance based on the race that's wearing the set.
Right.
Now this set here is designed for the Empyrean Elf race.
Correct.
So it's using the color palette of the Empyrean Elves, but armor sets also have their unique identity as well that will translate from race to race. So there's going to be some similarities across the races there. And that'll include its own color palette.
And that way, so that when you see the kind of silhouette, you kind of basically know what you're dealing with.
Correct.
And even though we're going to keep kind of some unique look to it, the overall silhouette will be pretty similar.
Oh, we can keep that up. Let's the color one. Let me keep that up because I just wanted to describe a little bit about what components are there. This is a more medium, light armor kind of set.
Yeah, I would call it medium armor.
I call it medium armor as well. And the only reason why sometimes I interject light and medium is because I view robes as a non-light armor. Right? And that would be our third armor set. Heavy, medium robes. Right? So this is a medium armor set. You're going to see you're going to see some metallic influence along with a mixture of robe and chainmail type stuff, right? So she has, and the cleric needs to be mobile as well, because this cleric specifically is going to be using a staff in combat. She's going to be up close and personal, you know?
Right. So these are builds that we're making for PAX. So when we talk about the cleric's armor, we don't mean that the cleric is relegated to this armor. The cleric can put on whatever armor they want
That's
to.
a good point.
But for PAX, this is what we're giving them. This is kind of like the archetype of what we're looking at.
Right.
Players will be able to change that, in the game itself. But for what we're going to present to you guys, this is kind of what we're looking at.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think last time on our last stream, I think when we were talking about classes, some people got lost and thought, oh my gosh, this is all the classes have or something like that.
Right.
This is specifically for the PAX event that players are going to have hands-on
Correct.
access to.
Right.
Which
again
months.
is going to be the ranger, the tank, the cleric,
And the mage. Yeah, that's right. So pretty cool. I love those colors, by the way. Love the colors. Very cool. I like it. All right, cool. So I think we had some questions from the community on the forums.
I believe we always do.
We always have questions, and why don't we answer some of those questions?
grab them.
Yeah, sure. Grab them on Slack, and then oh, by the way, while we're getting these questions from the forums, if you are not on Discord, our official Discord, you should be on discord.gg/Ashes of Creation. So go ahead and get Discord. You can do it in your browser. There is a channel on our server called, I don't remember what it's called now. What's it called? I think it's called Live Q&A. There's a channel
That'd be a really good name for it.
called Q&A Stream Channel. You can go there now and pose a question. Although my phone is at 1%, but hopefully that'll last. It usually doesn't. And we will answer some questions from there as well. It is on a 10-minute delay, so you get one question per 10 minutes. That way it doesn't spam blood crazy. What do we got, Peter?
All right, so Jay asks, how many people will be in the party?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's convenient.
There will be 8 people.
There you go. A little softball start off. Right?
Yeah, that's good. Okay. So the reason, just to go a real quick overview on that, 8 people, 8 archetypes. Each archetype has a very kind of
Specific
niche
role,
right? Yeah. And we want to make sure that when we're designing for dungeons and encounters, we're designing with, oh yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Oh, here it comes. Here it comes.
Yay. Okay. I have an iPad. So when we're designing for encounters, we're designing for dungeons, we're designing for PvP, for Raid v Raid, we want to make sure we're designing with those roles in mind, right?
And so that there's a spot for every role, and that every role can contribute meaningfully. Obviously the number 8 is subject to change. It comes with its own challenges when it comes to balancing and making that content work consistently for that amount of people. So it's something we're going to be playing with during all of our iterations. We'll see what you guys feel about it. We'll see how we feel about it, and hopefully we've made the right decision, and we'll go forward with 8.
Absolutely.
Okay, Goat asks, will different races have different base stats for the identical class?
Different base stats, yeah, they have race stats.
They have, so all stat growth is based on sort of like the initial state of the race, and then the class will tell you how those things grow.
Grow as well.
So
there's 2 different
the race
growth components.
seeds it, and then the class grows that seed.
Absolutely.
So you will definitely see different stat allocations between the races and between the different classes.
Yeah, like as Jeff was saying, you have base stats. You have first growth variable includes a race, and then second growth variable includes a class decision. And then third growth variable will be your secondary class choice as well.
Right.
Yes.
GSG asks, will there be any zones with fixed climates? So a perma-desert, a perma-snowy mountain?
There are definitely biomes that will exist. Oh my gosh, I said it. There are biomes that will exist. Sorry. That will exist in the world that are fixed, and then there will be more temperate zones that have different climates. Nice.
And it's fixed-ish, right? That doesn't mean it's not going to rain in a deserty area. It doesn't mean that winter, or like the northern area that's full of ice will experience snow every day, right? Those weather conditions will change.
Rofus asks, will professions have a direct effect to your stats or abilities? For example, a weaponsmith could have a slight increase in strength due to physical labor, etc., etc.
a really interesting idea.
It's an interesting idea, but as it stands now, no, your professions will not affect your stat line. No.
Okay, Warkov. Will there be any way to abandon the subclass and switch to another without remaking the character? So basically your second.
Right, your secondary class, swapping out secondary classes. So one thing that's important for me is I want to see choices matter. And while I want there to be a mechanic specifically with regards to the secondary class for you to change that decision, I don't want it to be something that can be changed on the fly. I don't want it to be something that you enter a dungeon and you're like, oh, I should be this secondary class.
Right.
I'm going to switch to that now. You know, I want there to be, you're getting into situations, you've made a decision, and here's how your decision will implicate your
These are
experience.
the consequences of that
Yes,
decision.
Absolutely.
Chudyi asks, will I have to participate in raids or boss killing to craft certain items?
Certain items?
Yeah. I mean, well, you don't necessarily have to participate, right? But you need to know somebody
You need to be
who
able to
does
acquire.
participate.
Right. Oh, yeah,
Right.
Absolutely. The only way for certain items to enter the world that are necessary components to certain crafts will be through some raid somewhere at some time,
Right.
accomplishing that, and then
Right.
you getting your hands on it.
So make sure your social circles are large and
Exactly.
Or your wallet,
that you're
right?
nice to
Oh,
people.
nice.
So Mithrandane.
In-game wallet.
Right, sorry.
In-game
In-game
wallet.
wallet. To be clear.
To be clear, there'd be no pay to win here, Gandalf.
That's true.
Stormcrow.
Sorry. Mithrandane, would you please talk briefly about the overall thematic tone of the game? I'm wondering where this game will fall on a scale of serious/dark/threatening on one end and goofy, lighthearted, humorous on the other end.
Well, it's pretty
Humorous,
serious.
yeah.
You're not going to see probably people running around in a two-piece bikini in the middle of town, you know.
Probably not. Yeah. You know, there's always a place for humor, and I think humor is an important part of storytelling. But the overall tone of the game is definitely, it's not grimdark, but it's darker. There's a threatening aspect to that, and it is a serious game. I mean, that's why we've chosen to be relatively realistic in how we portray our characters. You know, it's definitely not cartoony. It's definitely not slapstick. But humor should not be absent in any story.
Humor sometimes needs to have a colloquial sense, meaning that it should apply to the region within.
It should be appropriate to where it's coming
exactly.
from,
Yeah. So our humor is going to be appropriate to the setting. Yeah.
Okay, Aurea asks, if you have housing in a node that is attacked or otherwise reduced in level, what happens to each of the 3 types of housing at each level?
It's a very good question. It's a very good question. Well, first of all, if the siege is successful against the node, and mind you, these specific mechanics are going to go through multiple iterations of testing through alphas and betas. But as it stands now, when a siege is successful against a node, let's start with the first one, static housing. Static housing that exists within the node will no longer exist. Your owned furniture, your belongings, basically, you will still retain those belongings and be able to place them down somewhere else, you know, and go get another house and put the furniture back down and stuff like that.
But if it's reduced, it could just be scaled back.
Exactly. It could just be scaled back as well. So, for example, if you got in early at a node, say village state, and you grab a small house, and that village node advances into a town, that small house that you own, the real estate's going to expand to a medium-sized dwelling. Right. And if by chance attrition or something happens that scales down the node, you then would reduce yourself to a small house again.
However, if you had bought into the small house at that second level, then you would lose it.
Exactly.
So
because the small house that becomes available at the town stage, past the village, a new selection of small houses will become available. Those will have nothing to downscale to because they were new as a result of that leveling. The secondary type of housing being apartments, nice.
I've been wanting to touch it all the time. It's never been so close to me.
The apartment building, that is, apartment buildings are something that's determined by the node government in order to construct this apartment building. We good? You good? Okay, cool.
Thumbs up.
We have the color iteration, I think, Michael, in Slack should be for that tank. And you can bring that up anytime. I'll just cut to it in a second. When the node gets deleveled or destroyed, obviously that apartment building is going to be gone.
Right.
In addition, specific buildings that were necessary to be built by players and the government's choice have the potential of being destroyed during a siege,
Right.
even if the node siege is not successful.
Right. If the defenders win, it's still possible that structures are damaged.
Absolutely. So, say for instance, attackers come in and they see halfway through the battle, hey, there's no way we're going to be able to take this city. Let's just ransack and loot everything.
Let's pillage and do it whatever we can.
There are certain buildings that can be destroyed that way.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the third type being homesteads. Oh my gosh, did I just say homesteads?
You did.
Freeholds. The third type being freeholds. Sorry, there's like a million things in my mind.
There's a million
Literally
things.
millions. Did you see that video where it's like billions and billions?
Yeah. Actually, Peter's the one who sent it to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It is
So I know
hilarious.
Peter did see it.
I guess I did.
Oh man.
Sorry.
Okay. Anyways, these millions of why am I talking millions now?
Steve needs to get some sleep.
Oh man, what's sleep?
I don't know, man.
Okay, anyways, these freeholds, the freeholds, okay, so when the siege is successful, there will be a period of time that exists for the purview of that node's zone of influence where freeholds will be susceptible to attack by
Right.
the attackers. And they can attackers can go there and attack those freeholds. People, if you own a freehold, you can try to rally your friends. Once the siege is lost at the node, make your way to my freehold, and
Yep.
you guys can run there and try to defend it. There's going to be, hit points and whatnot. Here we have on the screen, we have the color iteration on the tank's armor. So this is just a first pass color iteration. All of these armors are currently in model mode right now. They're getting modeled. So we're doing color tests on them and palettes and seeing how they look and stuff. So there you go, a little look at the tank heavy plate color. Yeah.
Which looks fantastic.
It does look fantastic.
I'm really happy with that.
Yeah, that is a design by Matt Broom, by the way. The clerics that you saw earlier was by Jeffrey Delière. Il parle français, je pense. No, il parle québécois. Okay, what do we got?
From Townsend Vol, can you give us gatherers an idea of the following? How much can you carry personally? How much can you carry via the mule companion? And how much can be shipped via the caravan? So maybe like a relative scale would be appreciated if they even...
We talking pounds, stones?
Right. I mean, it's basically like an order of magnitude on each level, right?
Yeah, I don't even know how we could give an answer to that specifically because that will include knowledge of the measurement system that's necessary for players to understand and relate to different quantities of materials versus items versus,
But I mean, kind of, like, we can throw numbers out there.
Okay, go, hey.
Like, I don't know.
I try to throw numbers out there.
Fine, go.
No, go ahead. No.
Let's say your character can hold 100, right? 100 units, right?
100.
Then a mule might be able to carry 1,000 units.
Can we call our measurements whales? I'd like to call the weight measurements.
Yes, we can. 100 whales.
Okay.
You can carry 100 whales.
100 whales.
And then a mule might be able to carry 1,000 whales, and then a caravan.
Where are you shaking? A unit of whales.
That's a perfect
That's a
unit.
great
It means a
idea.
lot or a little.
Whales.
I don't know.
Yeah,
It's a little baby whale.
A little, a pygmy whale.
A pygmy whale.
Can we have pygmy whale pets?
Yep.
Okay.
It is falling apart. But yeah, so then a caravan might be able to carry 10,000 whales, right?
Okay.
So kind of ish on that side, but again, those numbers are just
I'm
made
just
up right
trying
now.
to see a caravan with the 10,000 whales on it.
They're little baby whales.
Oh, pygmy whales. I'm sorry. Okay. All right, next question.
All right.
Who was that asked that question?
That was Townsend Vol.
Thank you, Townsend Ball. That was a great question.
Ryuji, can I give permission to my friends, family, etc. to use my freehold functions?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can invite them.
You probably want to, because you
Yeah.
could make a pretty penny on it.
Yeah, you could charge them for it if you want to. You would your friends, but maybe, acquaintances.
Well, you never know.
Karthos, since we have confirmed seasons, will it be possible in Ashes to have season-specific mounts or vehicles, such as sleighs for winter?
Need to get chains for the tires on your caravan.
That would be really cool. I don't know how well that would.
So I guess to answer this question, there's another piece that might be important is within the profession system, there are going to be components of a caravan that you can build, multiple components, and depending on the tier and grade of those components that you make as the profession, you can enhance a caravan's hit points, its defenses, its movement speed on and off of the road. So I guess maybe something could fall into one of those categories, like you're faster on snow, and something along those lines. Yeah,
that would be kind of more where we would go with that. Is the different weather affects your movement rather than there being mounts and caravans specific to that kind of.
Correct.
Because it's going to be variable enough that just might become like onerous on the player's part to kind of have to constantly be swapping out mounts.
But I might want to build some snow wheels, and those snow wheels could be applicable. You never know.
Here you go.
Heckin' Bamboozled asks,
Oh, I love that name.
do you already know which exact chat channels you are going to implement, or is that still subject to change? So guild, region, shout, trade.
Yeah, we're going to have a pretty general,
Pretty traditional.
chat channels. I mean, you're going to have trade, you're going to have shout, you're going to have local, you're going to have guild, you're going to have alliance, you're going to have organizations, absolutely. You're going to have node, citizenship channel. But otherwise, it's pretty traditional. Yeah.
Okay. Sage Von Awesome.
Sage
My
Von
mistake.
Awesome.
From a design philosophy perspective, will you prioritize balancing PvP for the best of the best arena type players, or for the open world all skill ranges welcome average player base?
What is that question?
Are we going to?
Looks like the barrier to entry on PvP for.
Well, PvP should be able to participate for anybody.
Right, and we're not going to. The plan is not to balance it for 1v1.
Right.
Like that's not the goal.
Right.
The goal is to balance it group to group.
Right.
So a balanced group to a balanced group should be relatively balanced.
And then from there, it can extrapolate into a raid v raid. So from the group v group, you're just going to see an extension of that towards raid v raid.
Right. And there is going to be asymmetry to it, right? Like one specific type of build is probably going to beat a number of other types of builds. So it's not going to be, there's going to be a little bit of rock, paper, scissors to it, and there should be no best build at any given moment.
Yeah,
but one versus one, it's not going to be a good way to test it out.
There really shouldn't be kind of a meta. It should be more situational.
Right.
Like, what are you encountering?
Right.
And
where am I encountering it, and who am I encountering?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it for Slack. So
That's it for forums. All right, we got some Slack questions. We can probably take a few Slack questions. We got about 10 minutes.
Slack. I think you mean Discord.
Oh man, stop my head. I'm gonna go straight to sleep after this. I'm just kidding.
He already took his ambulance.
I know.
Nice.
Thanks. My phone's about to die. Do we have?
You want me to check? Sure.
Okay. Will you do your own official stream during PAX for people who cannot attend from Sage Von Awesome? Hey, another Sage.
Hey, Sage.
Yes, actually, at PAX we will have a shoutcast that will include live stream of gameplay. Some influencers will be joining us as well, and we'll be just talking about general specific topics that we're showcasing at PAX, and there'll be some.
Probably taking questions, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. Let's see. Tay, T-E-Y, asks, can we expect to see more videos like the level building one from the live stream in the future? Stuff like that is really interesting. Please upload it to YouTube. That was a question and a comment. So yes,
the whole plan is, we've got everybody installed with Capture software, and we're kind of just creating a library of that kind of stuff that we can share with you guys. We think it's really cool. I'm glad to hear you guys think it's cool. I'm always interested in design, and I think a lot of people are too. So I think it's good content for people to kind of see what we're doing and how we're doing it.
I agree. Okay, here we go. Question. What tier of gear will we be using at PAX? Tell me it is the highest one. Well, I'm afraid I can't tell you it's the highest one. It actually will be close to the high tier, but it will probably be just the tier under the highest.
Right, it'll probably be just the tier under the highest, and we're looking at stats kind of around level 10. So you'll be wearing better gear than what your actual stats are going to reflect.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah.
Good point. Okay, let's see. When will we be seeing Summoner looks, skills, gameplay, anything? Summoners. Okay, so right now, for us during this process, as we're in still a pre-alpha state, we're working on chunks at a time, right? And right now we're working on 4 classes. As soon as we have these in a solid pre-alpha state
that we're happy with and that people can play with.
Exactly. Then we'll be moving to the other 4 classes. Right. So soon, trademark. Will the game have setting for colorblindness? Wolfie 27.2. There will be settings to aid for colorblind players. Absolutely. I myself am red and green colorblind, and I will make sure that that is a component. And so is Jason, our technical director. Jason Crawford. Will you guys be at PAX South? Unannounced.
When is PAX South? That's in
May,
winter, isn't it?
Winter in the winter. It is in the season of winter. Are armor sets race locked? No, armor sets are not race locked. Summer Sausage asks, will there be chariots in the arena? As it stands, no. Will there be chariots? As it stands, no. but it's not entirely off the table. It's not entirely off the table.
I'm gonna die.
Okay, here we go. Let's see here. Treasure Hunter job. Shozakin asks, Treasure Hunter job ? Will it be like Tomb Raider with puzzles, traps, and lore? One of the things that I think we talked about, about a year ago, was being able to find maps that relate to hidden treasures in the world somewhere, kind of to incentivize that explorative spirit that exists in all of us, right? And I do think that there will be some treasure hunting, absolutely.
Treasure hunting is probably not going to be a profession, it's just going to be a way of life.
Not a profession, absolutely. Show us some weapon skins from Tree. Tree, that's not a question. I just want to say. We will be showing some weapons as we are growing closer to PAX. So. Here we go. We got one from Wedge the Orc. Will transmog or dye channels be something to customize the armor?
You will have appearance slots, which will kind of take the place of transmog in sort of like the traditional sense. Dye channels, I'm not entirely sure what you're talking about, but yes, we will have a dye system that you can change the colors and stuff of.
That was one of the rewards.
Primary and secondary, yeah.
Backward pulls. All right. Dozer026 asks, hello, Stephen, Jeffrey, and Peter.
Hi.
How is the riverboat coming along? Is there a riverboat? Are we putting in a riverboat?
I thought you were buying us a riverboat. We were moving the studio to a riverboat.
Oh man, I'd get seasick. I would need like permanent Dramamine. No, I can feel the slightest movement. Oh yeah, no riverboat. In game though, if we were talking about casinos, no. I don't know the answer to that question. PK asks, when you switch your secondary class, will you be able to keep progression in the old one?
This is something we've continued to talk about. We are not sure yet.
It's a good question. We'll have more on that at a later time. All right, so let's have another one here. Dexta. We know that there will be bosses that will spawn only at the Metropolis stage. Will they be needed for endgame gear?
Endgame is a bad word.
There you go.
So I guess let's replace the word endgame with top tier gear, so to speak. And then the answer would be yes. If there are bosses that spawn as a direct trigger of nodes reaching the highest level, then you will need to have a node reach that highest level in order to encounter that specific boss. Yeah, absolutely.
But there's also many different ways to do that too.
Absolutely.
It's not just going to be related to nodes.
Right. Okay, we have another one. Here we go. Let's have Let's have how. Okay. JD Wilson 11 asks, how will new content after release affect the already released content?
How will
Well, I think the most important part with new content is one, finding a place for it within the existing content, tying it into the existing storylines and arcs, right? And then using those as content that relates to any expansions from a game mechanic and system standpoint, such as further levels, those types of things. I mean, I don't know any other way to connect new content to existing content than that.
I mean, it's a really abstract question, right?
Right.
Because I think what he's getting at is the, like, you know, the world evolves as time goes on, and so how do you tie that content into the world evolving? Well, with the same hooks that we've got currently. So we already know kind of the direction the game's going to go. We don't necessarily know where it's going to go.
Yes.
But there is content that isn't necessarily linked to that kind of progression that we can fit in really easily.
Good. Zid asks, are pygmy whale pets confirmed?
I think they are now.
You confirmed them.
I
We did.
Okay, they're confirmed. Cheeky the Pie God asks, will there be pie in Ashes of Creation? Yes.
Certainly.
There
There's
will
going to be
be
many
pie.
different types of pies.
There'll be meat pies, there'll be dessert pies, lots of different pies. Blue Dawn Real Hard Chestnut asks, will there be a scoreboard? Stop it. Will there be a scoreboard to the fastest to clear a dungeon? Will there be raid scoreboard?
Yes, actually, that's something we've been talking
something we've
about.
talked about,
It's we can do a lot more with dungeons than what has traditionally been done.
Yes.
And we want to create incentives beyond just, hey, I'm going to get this item, that involve our dungeons that are a little bit more consequential and a little bit more fun. So that's something we're really focused on is pulling the fun out of places where you wouldn't necessarily expect it.
All right, very cool. Dave Peck asks, are the gray cups on the table filled with anything?
They're filled with water.
They're filled with plenty of water, a lot of water.
And Steven actually hasn't drank mine yet, so that's kind of weird. Usually,
That water tastes strange.
it's because it's been there for about 2 weeks.
Oh, thanks. I
I'm just
appreciate it.
kidding.
Why didn't you
Just
tell me
kidding.
that?
I'm just kidding. Those are fresh waters.
This is better. Unbelievable. See? Jeff's trying to kill me. Okay, someone says, will healers be able to stealth if they just take the secondary rogue?
Yeah.
There may be some skills that allow them to temporarily stealth.
Yep. It's all about your creativity and how you want to put that stuff together and use it.
Absolutely.
Maybe one more.
One more question. Okay, here we go. Last question of the day.
Better be a good one.
Ooh, this is a good one. This is a good one.
pressure.
It's a team effort.
All right.
Yeah.
From Tyrell, will we be able to wear sandals in game?
What a choice.
Yes,
Yes.
or no. Yes or no.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Come on.
There will be sandals in game, absolutely.
It has to be.
All right, guys, we have our next stream at noon on the 30th. When is it? Oh gosh, it's the 30th, I think. It's on the next, not this Friday, but next Friday, which I believe is the 30th, I think. Hold
Next
on.
Friday better not be the 30th.
No, it's not the 30th. It is the 28th. Our next stream is the 28th of this month at noon Pacific time. Our summer extension campaign for the crowdsourcing ends this Friday. So if you still have friends that want to participate and be able to get in on the summer campaign, please let them know about that. Our affiliate program has been updated, so you should be able to see your referrals in your Refer and Win tab. And you'll be able to see accrued Intrepid bucks there as well. What else we got going? Anything else? No? I think we're
working hard.
working hard.
Yep. Trying to get this game out there.
Absolutely.
Making some really cool progress. We're doing some pretty cool things in here.
I think
so
it is going to be
very
very
excited
exciting
to what we have at PAX.
to watch what's coming out of PAX. And the fact that we have those streams coming out of PAX, you guys are going to be, even if you can't make it to PAX, you're going to be right there with us, watching what's
Yep.
going on, and you're going to be able to see. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. Thanks for joining with us today.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, you
Have an
guys.
awesome
Always
week.
appreciate it.
Take care.
Have a good one.
Bye.